sometimes big question in your leaving cert have some aspect that have to do just with algebra, and that's what we have here in this question. So Q of n is the proportion of points with integer coordinates a and b. And again, let's understand what does it mean, integer coordinates? That means what? That a and b are whole numbers, not fraction or decimal, where the absolute value of a and b is less than n. What does that mean? Well, that means that if my value is 3 or plus 3, all I consider absolute value bracket, that means I'm always taking only a positive value out of it that is less than the value of the pattern n, that are in pattern n of the sequence. So that's what we are saying. We have a pattern here, and whatever pattern it is, first, second, third, 100, the point is that those coordinates overall will be the value. The coordinates will have less. Let me hold on. I know you lost me. I know. Again, we have points and we have coordinates. And those coordinates, for example, minus 3 and 3. And that means, this description means that if I take it out, the absolute value 3, that means that that has to be pattern 3 or bigger. That's what it means. Okay. But look, it's not really, this question is not really about the sequence and series. It's about manipulating the formula. So the first part is saying rearrange the formula t equal to write n in terms of t. What does that mean? I need to have n on its own on one side and then rest of the stuff on the other side of the equation. So how do we do that? So here I can see that I have 1 here, which shouldn't be together with n. So first thing, I move 1 to the other side, therefore I change the sign. So I am left with 2n. Now, I need n on its own, not 2n. What does 2n mean? n multiplied by 2. So that means to eliminate multiplication, I divide and divide both sides of the equation. And yes, I can leave it in that form since they didn't give me any terms and condition. Can I write it in any other way? Can I not have a fraction? Yes, you could have a half t minus a half, or you could have t over 2 minus a half. Whichever version that suits you will be good here. Okay, so Q of n is given by the following formula. So here we have a formula. Now, what are they telling us to do? By substituting your answer from D1. So what was my answer? N equal t minus 1 over 2. So by substituting where? Into the expression of Q of n. So where am I substituting? In place of n. How do I know? Because then I have to arrive at that. And that doesn't have n. So if I replace n with expression for t, therefore I will have expression for t. That's why I said it's not really sequence, just algebra. So let's do that. Let's replace that. So instead of this n, we are putting t minus 1 over 2 plus 1, and that is to the power of 2. And then the bottom of the fraction, again, 2 multiply, and instead of n, we are putting t minus 1 over 2 plus 1, and that is to the power of 2. So again, you can write it as however you want, however it is easier for you. But let's say if you wrote it that way, and there is a reason why I'm doing it, because I want to talk about fraction. How do I deal with it? Well, first of all, if both of them were fraction, it will be easier for me to take it to the power of 2. How can they be on one fraction line? They need a common denominator. So that has to be expressed as a fraction with 2. So what do I have on top? 2, isn't it? 2 divided by 2, that's 1. So that's the first thing I'm doing. Then here I'm saying, well, I can multiply these 2 and these 2. That will simplify to 1 because 2 divided by 2, that's 1. So I am left here t minus 1 plus 1 to the power of 2. Okay. So here, on the bottom of this fraction, straight away I see that 1 will simplify out. Here I can write it as a one fraction. T minus 1 plus 2 over 2. and that's to the power of 2. And then at the bottom of the fraction, now I have t to the power of 2. So I'm saying, okay, minus 1 and 2, I can add it together. So I'm going to have minus 1. Okay, so I'm getting there. How do I take fraction to the power of 2? The top and the bottom to the power of 2. So that means t minus 1 to the power of 2, and then 2 to the power of 2 will be 4, and everything divided by t to the power of 2. How do I take a bracket to the power of 2? So when I have two values in my bracket to the power of 2, that will equal the first number to the power of 2, not minus, not plus minus, minus 2 multiplied by the first, by the second, plus the second to the power of 2. So that means I will have t to the power of 2 plus, not, why am I coming with this plus? Minus 2t plus 1. And then divided by 4 divided by t to the power of 2. I'm saying, okay, they don't have that fraction upon fraction thing. Okay, let's slightly divide it. So this is the top of the fraction divided by the bottom of the fraction. So we can write it this way. T to the power of 2 minus 2t plus 1 divided by 4 divided by t to the power of 2. How do I divide fraction by the fraction? I turn the other one upside down. Multiply 1 over t to the power of 4. So how do I multiply? Top by the top, bottom by the bottom. So t to the power of 2 minus 2t plus 1 over 4 multiplied by t to the power of 2. And there it is. I arrive at what they were looking for. Yeah, fraction, very important. We really need to understand how they work. Please have a go and practice. It's an excellent question for the 5th year as well.